As we are aware that in UPSC, usually in civil services, they are asking questions mostly related to the cultural aspect. Because in syllabus, the topic has been given Indian heritage and culture. Definitely, history and culture can never be separated. But there are some aspects related to the heritage in which architecture is playing most important role, because these are the visual manifestations of any empire. We are knowing that in the colonial era, before that we have seen the Mughal architecture when we are reading the medieval India. After this, when once our this modern India has finished, now we should concentrate that what were their contribution in the field of architecture, that is known as the colonial architecture. While going through the question paper of the last years, I found that they had asked some questions in the previous years, like once they have asked in the main examination for writing short notes on Victoria Memorial. Victoria Memorial. Now once they have asked that development of Oriental art, this I am telling about the development of Oriental art. These are the questions which are since approximately around 2002-2003. Now the syllabus has changed. Now we can find that in the NCERT, the new pattern, that is the theme 3, we are finding that there is a chapter related to the establishment of the towns. There we are getting some of the good insights about the colonial architecture. So I recommend you just go through that chapter once, the modern NCERT books nowadays, that is in the theme 3. That chapter is there. Besides, because the architecture, these are the visual things. So usually it is expected that a student of history should know something about the architecture, that is especially the colonial architecture. Here I will go through the Victoria Memorial. First let us see the Victoria Memorial. From there we will have some idea about the colonial mindset of the people. Just after this Victoria Memorial, seeing the photograph here, we are having in the mind why such massive structure at the bank of Hooghly. First reason was that the Britishers, they were having the occupancy in India. They have established their occupancy and they were the rulers. So they wanted to give the imposing architecture. They wanted to show the people that, look, you just see how much powerful we are, how much good our culture is there. That is a tendency of any ruler. So that was one reason. Then UPSC, the concept-wise questions are coming, that why then definitely they want to show the power. Second thing is that what was the influence on it. You are finding that there is a victory of angels here. This one is showing that we are the rulers, the victory of angels. This is of the Makrana marbles, so definitely some influence of the Taj Mahal is there. Taj Mahal is there. Then we are finding that this type of architecture, this type, means the dome shaped, the arc shaped structure, the pillars. These are some of the remnants of the the fusion of the European architecture. Besides, we are finding that there are some of the concepts of the Indian architecture also. Indian architecture, like what are the concepts of the Indian architecture? That these are Chhajja, Chhatri and Jali. In Mughal architecture, or before that during Islamic time, I have told you regarding one concept, that Indo-Saracenic architecture. What does it mean by Saracenic? If you recall, Saracenic means Arabic or Islamic. The Romans were telling that this type of in Arab country, the architecture as the Saracenic architecture. When the Arab architecture came in confluence with the Indian, then it becomes the Indo-Saracenic. Now what happened that in Indo-Saracenic means Indian is there, Arabic is there, Turk, Islam and Islamic is there. Then here the Europeans are fused. So in this one, the Victoria Memorial, we are finding that the Indo-Saracenic, in which all the fusions of all these three are there. Here in the European side, we are finding the Venetian, we are finding the Deccans also. And so this was made in 1906 to 1921 perhaps. And in memory of the Victoria, who died in 1901. So this was the basic aspects which are required to be written in the civil services. Now I am telling that what are the European aspect in that. As per the European aspects, there are the four types of architecture. The first is the Romanesque. Just I am writing down the name first. Romanesque. The second is, after Romanesque, it is the Gothic. And after Gothic, it is the Renaissance. SSANC, Renaissance. And last is the Neoclassical. Now let us see what is this. What is Romanesque? Romanesque means here, this is having the Roman influence, Romanesque. You are finding here the pillars. In the pillars, there are different type of capital orders. You just mind this place. Later on, I am going to give you some insight of that one. And you are finding that these are semicircular type of shape, and it is giving at an arc of this type, to Romanesque. Okay. Now let us see. The second is that from Romanesque, it has come the Gothic style. Gothic style has come in the 12th century. You see that in the Gothic style, it has become this, the earlier, this arc has gone in this way. This one. So we are having the some of the derivative from this place, from the Romanesque, this Gothic style. In India, you will find that the Gothic style are very important, rather more Gothic style that this roof is high pitched roof, pointed church like, just pointed church like structure, pointed arches, the detailed decorations on all the places. The churches built during the medieval periods were of the Gothic styles, and in India we are having the Peninsular Railway, the Great Indian Peninsular Railway Company headquarters, that Victoria Terminus, as the Neo-Gothic style. And we are very much aware that subsequently Renaissance came in 1453. After Renaissance, that was the case of the revival of the culture. Revival means there was inquisitive mind of the people have developed. It has developed in all the field of art and culture. In the field of Renaissance, we are finding that the pillars which we have seen in the Romanesque type, now some little bit of changes are coming, and these pillars are, you just see the pillars are now different. Here the pillars are very close and the capitals are of different type, but here it is different, and this is coming in this way. What do you recall something from that? That the Indian Rashtrapati Bhavan, the Viceroy house of the earlier, it is having similar type of to some structure, no? And from here we are getting that in the latest is the Neoclassical, that is the cathedral of this one. You are finding that the pillars have become very much, these are the roof are slanting type, pitched roof, no, pitched roof. This one, this is the Neoclassical. These four are the pattern. Please revise it again, this slide. Just go little bit back in the last 2 minutes and you will find that the four are the main European pattern. So I was telling about the Indo-Saracenic. In Indo-Saracenic, what is their thing? In these four are combined. What happens in the colonial architecture? If some questions are being asked for the colonial architecture, then you have to write that these four are the main European style, and these four style of different types like 8th century, 12th century, 15th, 16th century and 18th century. 8th, 12th, 16th and 18th century, like that. These when combined with Indo-Indian plus Islamic, then it was the Indo-Saracenic. Now let me show you some Indo-Saracenic which we have seen earlier. Here we are having the Indo-Saracenic style, in which you just what you find. These are the finials. Finial is here. Finials. This is the lotus finial. Lotus shape structure is there. This is dome, and this is the drum. Okay. There are some patterns, geometrical patterns, just between the drum and the dome. This is the Islamic, the motif structures. Okay. Now we are finding that there are some kangura. The designs are there, kangura designs. This is the Islamic part. This one is chhajja, the outer one. Chhajja. And here we are finding that these are the orders, the capitals of this type. Let me see this one again. The capitals are of different type. Like this is the Doric order. These capitals have developed in Greek, and these are the Doric, and this is the Corinthian, and this one is the Ionic. What is the role of this capital? You will find that in this photograph in the Victoria terminus, I have shown you these are the pillars. In the pillars, these type of structures are there. Okay, this is the Doric, this is Ionic, and this is Corinthian. If you see the photograph of this Rashtrapati Bhavan, the old Viceroy house, here you are finding that some patterns are there. You just see the pillars. These are giving a sense of the grandeur to the buildings. So these are the important aspects of the colonial architecture. If something is being asked related to colonial architecture, then you are required to write down these important points: Indo-Saracenic, the four type of European architectures, and the capital, that is the Doric, Ionic and Corinthian. These things if you write down, then definitely you are going to get 8 out of 10 marks. Now let us come from some historical perspective. Most of the architectural buildings what we are finding in India, they were mainly for the utilitarian approach. Utilitarian approach means for the use point of view, the Britishers have converted them as per their requirement. First thing. Second was that they were near to the sea, because they were mainly the seafarers. They wanted to see that their buildings can be seen high from the sea. So they were very high, lofty. Besides, they have made most of the buildings like on the warehouse pattern, because near the sea they wanted to have the warehouse. For the warehouse, fortification is required. So fourth point was that the fortified area. As the fortified area was there, the township has developed nearby. So that's why we are finding that most of the buildings are in Calcutta province or in Bombay province or in Madras province at the initial stage. Then fortified, then they have also found that the factory was not necessarily for the manufacturing things, they are mainly for the warehouse things. For any building, you have find that the 2-3 aspects are important. The important aspects are that the building architecture are mainly influenced by the climate and by the religion, because all these four types, Romanesque, then Gothic or Renaissance or Neoclassical, these all have developed in and around Mediterranean climates. So their suitability were accordingly modified in India, and in India it has come even the Bangla type of style, the old Bangla type of style, that the the room is there on the four sides of the room. Barandas are there so that it can be airy. So this type of residential buildings are being found at that time. So this is another aspect. Second, more aspect is there, that the first who came, they were the Portuguese. The Portuguese, they came in the Goa, they remained for 400 years. In the 400 years, and the 400 years they have made a very beautiful lofty buildings. Like we are finding that the church at Goa, the Sea Cathedral Arch, St. Francis Church at Cochin, these are the important structures of the Portuguese. The first important Indo-Saracenic structure which we are finding here, it is the Chepauk Palace at Chennai. Here you are finding that the Iberian, that is the old Goa church structure. Why I am using the word Iberian? You are just seeing the columns, and here what are the differences between the Iberian and the Gothic? That is one important aspect. Sometimes they may ask questions if they will go very much in detail then. In the Iberian structure, the important thing is that the material used, as we have seen in the photograph, it was the brick. Just see, here it has been brick has been used, but in Gothic, red sandstone are being used. Here in this Iberian, wooden roofs are being found. You just see the roofs are there, they are the wooden roofs, and the wooden stairs are being used. In the Gothic, it is not there. It is the shape structures are reinterpreted and the Western style, that this type of buildings are there, the huge tall buildings, the prominent features, the old Goa church, these are the examples. But in the Gothic styles, we are finding that new shapes and structure as per in the Gothic. We have seen the Gothic photographs earlier. This one is the Gothic styles, the huge lofty, and this one the huge lofty and conical structure and arches in this way. Next question that sometimes they are asking for the Gateway of India. Gateway of India is having the Indian Gujarati style. Then we are having the one more important, that the Taj Hotel. These are also having the Indo-Saracenic and Islamic influence. Islamic influence means Chhajja, Chhatri and Jali. So this is important. Next important thing, just I wanted to tell you that it is related to the Bombay. Sometimes they are asking questions that you know that in 1869 Suez Canal was opened and Bombay became the most prime land, that is the Bombay Urbs Prima. Bombay was known as the Urbs Prime, most important place in India, because after Suez Canal opened, and Bombay the Britishers got from Portuguese in Dowry. So we have seen in one of the last class, that is one important aspect. Regarding Neoclassical, the Town Hall of Bombay, just see the photograph of the Town Hall of Bombay. It is there on the in the theme 3 book, Town Hall of Bombay. Very important structure, that is Roman style is there to some extent. That the Elphinstone Circle, sometimes the questions are being asked regarding Elphinstone Circles, because portico has been used, but UPSC are not normally going up to this punctilious detail. But nuances of UPSC nobody can tell you. It was later on changed to the Horniman Circle. So it was the covered arcade was there. Covered arcade has been used. Covered arcade for the change, because the sun, they require protection from the sun ray. Sun ray should not go directly, otherwise the building will become heated. So this one is there. Regarding the Gateway of India, I have told that in 1911 it was made when King George V and Queen Mary came. It is the traditional Gujarati style. So these are some of the important aspects which are very important when we write about colonial architecture. One more thing regarding French influence. French influence, very important, that on the Pondicherry. In the Pondicherry, you will find that the French influence is there much more in the architecture. Whenever the French influence is there or Italian influence is there, you will find the influence of the church. So Indo-Gothic and the French influence, both these things are combined. So these are one more important thing. Yes, sometimes the questions they asked related to the Oriental art in architecture. What is Oriental? Oriental, the word itself is clear to you that Oriental means East. When Renaissance was taking place, the Ottoman Empire, the Turkey and east to that was known as the Oriental regions. So at the time of Renaissance, the lifestyle of Turkey was very important to observed by the Western people, Occidental people. They were doing all sort of paintings and all those things of these Oriental people. The people who were knowing about this area, they were known Orientalist. So some of the influence of the Oriental art has gone in at the time of Renaissance also. But this Oriental art has developed when the Occidental, the Western people came in contact with Indians or in Turkey or in Southeast Asian nations. Then they developed certain art forms that is known as the Oriental art. So this is also some important aspect from which usually you may expect some questions. So I think that most of the important and salient points I have covered in this class, and you please go through theme 3, that chapter, the development of towns in India.